Hello, today we will be talking about the Boston Tea Party. The Boston Tea Party occurred in Boston, Massachusetts, which is one of the 13 colonies at the time, and it occurred on December 16th, 1773. One of the driving forces behind the Tea Party was that the British Parliament passed several acts that taxed the colonists for several everyday items that they used. The British began taxing the colonies heavily on several things, mainly because of their debt they grew from the 7 Years' War. The group of people responsible for the Tea Party would be the Sons of Liberty. They were established in 1765, and their purpose was to advance the rights of colonial Americans. As I said, one of the main goals of the Sons of Anarchy was to advance the rights of colonial Americans, and they did this by protesting several acts passed which taxed the colonies. There are several famous Americans in the Sons of Liberty. A few would be Paul Revere, Samuel Adams, and John Hancock. The demonstrators at the Boston Tea Party actually dressed as Native Americans, and many believe they did this to assert American identity. The demonstrators here boarded ships and began throwing crates of tea into the Boston harbor. This is where we get our famous "no taxation without representation" quote. The demonstration at the Tea Party actually was not about the taxes on tea, but it was a demonstration because of several other taxes that the colonists were not happy about. After the Tea Party, there were several ramifications from the British government that occurred. They responded very harshly towards the colonists and came up with acts known as the Intolerable Acts. One of the Intolerable Acts was the Massachusetts Government Act, which prohibited self-government in the state of Massachusetts. Another act was known as the Quartering Act, which forced colonists to house and feed British soldiers, otherwise they would be imprisoned. Another act that was passed was the Boston Port Bill, which the king passed that only allowed British ships to enter and leave the Boston harbor. And all these events we can see are escalating into what eventually will become the American Revolution, which we will talk about next class.